I really prefer iced coffee, and obviously the coffee's hot, so it needs to take some time to cool down. So while it cools down, I thought now would be a really great time to kind of intro you to today's video, which is a lesson in when things don't go exactly according to plan. If you're new here, hi, my name is Angela. I am an American living in London who loves to read romantasy books and write romantasy books. I currently have a romantasy book that I've been working on for 2 years. It has gone through the writing process, many edits, many beta readers and critique partners and an editor, and I am getting it all ready to query. So here's the thing. Today we're supposed to work on my next romantasy novel, which is set in the same world, but a different story. So you could read either of them in either order, and I'm really having a lot of fun with that project so far. My critique partner, who is the most absolutely lovely human, and I literally cannot express enough gratitude for how devoted in some ways she is to helping me. We send audio notes back and forth about my book and her book, and I just love the camaraderie that we have. And she brought up a couple of really good ideas about how to change the book. Those changes, in my opinion, just need to be made. They'll make the story stronger, and I really trust her opinion, so I really want to make those changes. And then she also pointed out one problem, which was kind of one of those problems where I had a sneaking suspicion it existed, but no one had pointed it out yet. And she said she didn't realize it until the second read through, which makes a lot of sense why no one else is pointing it out, because I think the book has so many plot twists that it's kind of a hard issue to spot when you're first reading it for the first time. I really want this project to be as high quality as possible, so I also need to go through and brainstorm that. So because of those two things, I really cannot work on my new novel. My priority needs to be getting this novel ready so it's the best possible version it could be in case any agents ask for a full. I know that traditional publishing and getting an agent, getting a publishing deal is a lot up to chance. So if I don't get one, I'm not gonna let that hold me back, and I'm planning on self-publishing this book. That was a really roundabout way of saying that I intended to have a really intense writing day today, but now we are going to be working on my old project, not my new project, and that is a little bit disheartening. The amount of edits I've needed to do on this project, it does kind of frustrate me quite a bit. I would really love to find a process where I can make less edits, but at the same time I know that because I'm going slow, because I'm being thoughtful with it, and because I am taking the time to make edits even when what I already have might be good enough or okay, all of this is the reason why this project is going to be so amazing. This morning so far, I have edited 3 chapters in the old project. I'm hoping to get through, I think, 8 chapters today, and then maybe read through it and brainstorm solutions to the really big problem I don't have an answer to. I think that is a little bit ambitious for one day. The issue is tomorrow, as you will see in this vlog, I have a run-in brunch with a friend. I am going to a museum, and then I have book club. So it's already just a really chaotic day. So we need to get the majority of the work done today. So we've already edited 3 chapters, and then my partner and I went to a park run, which is this thing in the UK where all the parks host 5-kilometer runs and races that you can do each weekend, which is a really fun community event. And so we went and did that and ate some pancakes and hash browns after. And now it's time to let the iced coffee cool down and get some iced coffee. I think it could be a really fun challenge to try to challenge myself to write 1 chapter and then go back to get the coffee. I don't know if anyone else does this way of creative projects, but giving myself deadlines like that, even if they are kind of fake, really helps me to actually move along and not just procrastinate scrolling on TikTok. I'm not gonna lie, I only got through editing About half a chapter, but the thing about this chapter that I'm currently working on is I think this is one of the ones that's going to have the most heavy lifting. The chapters I did this morning also I think are a little bit of a heavy lifting chapter, but after this it should, fingers crossed, go faster. So I really needed the coffee to speed up my brain and think through how to do this well. So basically what I'm trying to do is just amp up some of the emotions with the romance. So coffee, and then I've been listening to Taylor Swift's romance songs, obviously not like her breakup songs or her songs about revenge, but songs kind of like a Lover and like the Lover album to try to like, I don't know, just like speed up my brain and get me in the right headspace. I also get asked a ton what my editing process looks like, and I'm not gonna lie, like the actual editing is a little bit chaotic, but I guess there's like a slight process. So after I finish my draft, I make sure I read through it because the first draft is messy. It's supposed to be messy. And I write out pretty detailed notes and actually like completely re-outline what I want chapter 2 to look like. Then I refer to that outline while I'm editing / revising / rewriting draft 2. And I do that sort of like heavy lifting process as many times as I think until I'm happy with where it's at, or I'm happy with most things, but I know there are some problems and I don't know how to fix them and I'm too stuck in my head. At that point, I go and get beta readers who are lovely, amazing people and kind of give me feedback from someone who's not in my head about what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, what they like, what they don't like. And that feedback is so transformative. So I did that beta reading round, then I did another round of edits. I actually ended up sending it back out to more beta readers at that point. The feedback was much more positive. I also found my critique partner around then. My critique partner also read it and she's currently reading draft 7. So like right now I'm on draft 7 and before she read, I want to say draft 6. The other beta readers just read draft 6. For the most part, they really liked it. They did point out some things that could be changed, but they were less intense changes, if that makes sense, than the feedback I was getting on draft 5 from the first round of beta readers. When it comes to like actually organizing the edits, that's where I get even more type A. So I kind of do it in the way that like tech companies do, where I have sprints. And so I have like a 2-week sprint and I look at my calendar, what sort of work obligations I have, social obligations, fitness obligations, and think how much time do I have over the next 2 weeks to devote to my novel. Once I have that, I kind of have a rough idea of like how long it takes me to edit a chapter at different phases in the editing process. So I'll assign a set amount of chapters for how much time I have. I then have like a checklist. I just kind of go through and check off things throughout those 2 weeks. At the end of the 2 weeks, I check in, see how I'm doing, where I'm making progress, where I'm not making progress, and readjust. I find that those 2-week sprints are really good because it's not like I'm putting a ton of pressure on one day. Like if I have a bad day, that's fine. There's time to bounce back, but it's not so much time that I'm just not motivated to work. I don't know about you, but for me personally, if I give myself like 3 months, I'll just think that's way too much time and do absolutely nothing. Whereas if I create this false sense of urgency, I move much faster. And then I also create deadlines for each draft. So the draft I'm working on right now, the deadline is the end of this month because like I said, I really want to get those query letters out, and within this sprint and the next sprint, I'm also going to be doing a little bit of work on the querying materials as well. So within the sprint, it is any task that are related to writing. These sprints are like a little ambitious because I'm doing some editing work on here, the query stuff, and writing a bit on the new project. But once the queries are out, we will be solely focused on that new project and everything will be less chaotic. We have finished those edits. In case you guys are curious, I wear my glasses. I actually can't see very well far away, including like the desktop monitor. My vision's quite bad. So that's why we wear glasses in a lot of the B-roll that you see, but I can't see like up close when I'm like looking at my phone or reading a book. So that's a little fun fact about me. I'm really happy with how those edits turned out. I think I want to like let them sit overnight and then look at them again tomorrow to make sure that they make sense and to know anything else that might need changed. But right now I think I'm very happy with where that is. The other thing we still have to address is the problem that my critique partner pointed out to me that I didn't have a very good solution for. So I didn't show this, but yesterday I actually on a sheet of paper just jotted down some ideas because I find when I'm not on my computer and I'm writing on physical paper, the ideas just flow easier, which is why you always see my trusty little journal next to me when I'm working. I think I want to do that again for this new big problem just because it is a conundrum. I don't want to solve the conundrum unless I have a good way to weave it into the story and make it make sense of everything that's still there. I really just don't want to have to rework entire sections of the story. I think what I need to do is just add in a little bit more detail and explanation about one aspect of the book, and that detail's kind of in my head. It just isn't fully on the page. So that is what I think we're going to do next. After that, though, I really would love to have some time to read. I haven't had a lot of time to read recently. I think part of it is I'm not really fully enjoying my physical book that I'm reading. In case you're new here, I always read one audiobook and one physical book. I'm really loving my audiobook right now, which I forget the name of. My current audiobook is called Where the Dark Stands Still. It's kind of a folksy fantasy book, very in the style of Rebecca Ross. So if you like her writing, I feel like you would like it. I am 58% through and really enjoying it, but I mostly listen to that while I'm like cooking or cleaning or at the gym. While I do love audiobooks because they allow me to read more books, it doesn't compare to the process of just sitting down with either my Kindle or a physical book. So I also always have one physical book running at the same time. Like I said, though, I'm not super thrilled with my current physical book. So there's a very good chance that we're going to start a new book. My friend recently lent me her arc of Immortal Consequences, which is a dark academia fantasy novel, and I think we might end up diving into that. Morning. So this morning, in a very different, much cozier outfit, I read over those chapters we edited yesterday, and I think they sound pretty good. So I'm so glad we got all that work done because, as I mentioned, we have a pretty busy day today. I will take you guys along with me as much as I can on my social activities today, but I thought I would show you guys, in case anyone else is a runner, my like running fit before I go. So I have my Shocks headphones, Apple Watch, and just a little tank top, black shorts, and my running vest. I love my running vest because it makes me feel almost like I'm like a kid going on a field trip, if that makes sense. Like it just has such a fun energy because I can add little slacks to it. I don't have it on me, but I have like a water bottle thing I can add in. And then I have a jacket in the back because I might get cold at brunch after. I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys. Writing my novel and then going on a run and going out to brunch with a friend is like the ideal weekend morning. In case I forget to check in later, I hope you all are having an amazing day wherever you are. If you are a writer, comment down below what genre you're writing in or how far you are in the project. As well, if you have like any questions about editing or my writing process, happy to answer them in the next writing vlog. If you aren't a writer, then comment your favorite recent read. But thank you all so much for watching this video. I create videos about writing, reading, now marathon training, and being an American in London. So if that sounds like a good time, would love to have you here. And let's cue the fun B-roll.